Good morning, friends. Welcome or welcome back if you are a returning viewer. It is Monday. Today is the 18th of May. We're already this far into the year. Incredible, isn't it? So here I am again, as promised, with my weekly update, and you get to see my face again. Not that that's anything super special. You're here for the cross stitch, I assume, but well, let's get into this week's update, shall we? So I don't really have much to waffle about. I just had a couple ideas that I wanted to talk about, and I lost them while I set up the camera, which is customary. First off, I hope you do not hear the noise from outside. I have my windows closed. Spring is in full swing. We are having a couple bouts of summer already here and there. Right now we don't. Currently it's a bit colder, but we did have over 20 degrees a couple times already this year. So that's a bit crazy. But what I was getting at, there's a lot of lawnmowers outside. They are in full season. So I hope they're not going to interfere with my filming. If they are, I will have to stop and pick back up later today once they're gone. But I don't really like filming in the evening, but because my friend's here and, well, the light is even worse. So here we are. I have a couple things at the end that I will put at the end of the video, some things about changes coming to my shop and such. So if that's something you're interested in, please stick around until the end of the video. And as always, we will be moving over to my desk so I can show you the projects I worked on. It's not as many. I have been a little focused on work last week, but I did do stitching. So let's go and take a look at it, shall we? All right, so as usual, these are in no particular order, so I'll just grab them as I go. I worked on, well, most of this is game stitching, I think. Okay, the project is not even in here. Did I still keep it somewhere because I was still working on it? Yes, I did. See, we're starting off strong today. So here we are. It is still in the hoop because I am still needing to do stitches on it. So I was playing Melson Manor, and as we last talked, I moved on. Let me get my... I'm not prepared as usual. Let me get my game notes. So I did continue with this game here. So we moved from the Mythical Swamp, which I did stitch on. I will show you that afterwards, but if you watched my stitch with me, you did see most of that getting done. And then moved from the outer walkway here, the terrace, into this hallway, which I had done roll on irises and dragonflies. And then I rolled the stitches on this project, and I did roll maximum numbers. So this is supposed to get 3,200 stitches before I move on, which is funny because this is a full coverage. I mean, obviously it is a full coverage. It's a full cross project, which, as we all know, they are, well, slower going than 10 stitch projects. But this is where this one is currently at. I'm going across the row, and, well, with that amount of stitches, I'm probably gonna get the first row done. I did give it so far, let's see, 380 out of 3,200, so it still needs 2,820 more stitches, so we will see this for a bit and the weekly updates, because I do plan on doing those and not dropping out of it like I did with the other one, where I was like, oh, this is too much, I don't want to do this. But since I have other game rounds going, if I need to take a break on it for a week or two, then that particular game will just sit and I will continue with the other ones. But I do like this project. It's one of my older ones, so I do want to get some progress in it. Let me show you what this will look like finished. This is the cover picture. It is from Artisy. The artwork is by Elena Vladikina. I hope I'm not butchering that. And I've had this for a couple of years. That was the first artsy pattern I bought. I think it's the only artsy pattern I bought. I have a lot of artsy patterns, but most of them are freebies. So that is where this one is at. And as you can see, I am still... And this is a restart. Like, I started this before, but I didn't like where I was... the combination with the fabric I was stitching it on and all that. So this is technically not as old as it would be if I would go by when did I first start this. So this is where this is at. And I will continue working on it over this week as I have time. Let's put this one aside. I need to put some order into my desk in a bit. So next I worked on, let's see, this is not a game stitch. This is my sneaky new start that I put in this week. Oh, that's the wrong way around. Here we are. This is where this one is at. I've already moved the hoop slightly across, also going across the row with this one. And like I said, sneaky new start. Let's see, it is a forest theme. I will show you the finished picture in a bit. So with the hoop there, you can't really see much of what I did, but I am planning on also giving this some more work this week. So that is where it will stay. Maybe I won't though. I'm not decided yet. I should not leave stuff in a hoop. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna work on it the following week or days, but because like my plans change fast. So let's see, do I have a printed out cover for this? I do, but it's hiding in the bag. Let's get it out of the bag. So this is Forest Dragon by Anne Stokes, and I got this from Thread Geeks. I think I got this like the didn't they like discontinue most of the artists they had? I'm not exactly, I don't remember fully, but I know that I got this like as a kind of last minute thing, but I really like this one. So I'm all the way here in the corner. But this is not one of those, like, it's not as massive as you get with a, say, Heaven and Earth Designs. So do I still have too many for coverages or projects in general? I do. Let me get a sip of my drink. So that one got worked on one day, Monday, and got 734 stitches. It's actually quite fast going. Maybe I will pick it up later today. So then I worked on my model stitch for the Zesty Mandala, and you can see this one's coming along nicely. I may have an issue with this one though, because this is not a 14 count, and which is fine, that's not the problem. The problem is the floss. So on a 14 count, this one would need a little bit over 1 skein of floss. As you can see, I'm stitching it all in the same, with the same floss color. It's multicolored. This one is, I believe, probably an 18 count, I would say. So naturally I would need less floss. And as you can see, it doesn't need much more to get finished. However, this is all the floss I have left. There's like one more, like 2 more strands. Like this one still has 4 in it, this length here, 4 strands, so that's 2. And then I have this left over here. So this might not be enough floss for this project. I have ordered more, so that's hopefully not gonna take too long. Maybe this will be enough, and then I just have too many, then I'll just have too much of this color, which is fine. But for now, I do not know if this will be enough. So this might get finished, or it might not get finished. And I know I said last week that if I didn't finish it over the past week, which I obviously didn't, as you can see, it's not finished, then I would release it on the weekend, which I also did not do. But the reason for that I will talk about later at the end of my video in the chat section, when I get briefly into what I'm planning for my shop and such. So stay tuned for that, and then you will know why this was not available yet. But I hope I can finish it soon, and I hope I have enough floss. Or my reorder, like my order of more of the color, will actually be the same color and will arrive soon. So that's this one. Then I do have 2 more that I worked on, both of which is game stitching. And as we've had, like, pulling this back out here, this game, stitching on the swamp here, my swamp. So let's show you that. If you've watched my stitch with me, you've seen part of it getting done, but I picked, that was not all 600 stitches that I needed to do, so I picked it back up a day after, or was it the same day? I think I did all of the 600 stitches in one day. Yes, I did. I continued after filming. This is not the right. It's this way. So, and moved a little further across the row up here. So this is where this one's currently at. I do not believe I got any milestones on it. No, I did not. So that was a damage point. I still have 3 hit points left on this game. But this is where this one's currently at. I will continue moving across. I think this is where this one ends. But yeah, this is where the mythical swamp got with that game round. And this is also one that I enjoy working on most of my projects. But I am very fickle with my attention. I need, oh god, these hanging threads are crazy, aren't they? I need a lot of diversification in what I stitch, which is why I have so many projects. But sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, so I really do want to finish some. And then, last but not least, and my cat is playing with the plastic plant, I also worked a little bit, let me get the other game out, on my non-full coverage game. So we are still up here on the first floor. So last time we had this one, I worked on Secret Garden. So I went back into the hallway in room number 11, and I pulled back out my Ranger stitch and gave that 200 stitches. And then I rolled which room I would go next, making like the autumn window, like downstairs number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I believe I rolled a 4. Let me check in my game notes. I did. So next I will move back into this bedroom and work on Lucky Thirds again. I cannot open any more doors at the time being because I'm still level 1. So there's only 6 rooms that I have access to. That is a part of the game that I will stick to. So I will be moving back in here. And then I will decide if I want to move back into the hallway to give the Ranger some more love, or move into the bathroom and work on the snake mushroom, and then choose either of these rooms again. But we will get to that when we get to that. For now, I worked on my Ranger, and like I always say, I changed the class name, because this is the pattern. I'm not stitching the background, so percentages are a little bit skewed and not correct. I did switch out the class name for the name of my Ranger, so that is different. And this is where I am currently at. Let's get the thread out of the way. So this one's coming along nicely. The only thing that I still need to finish, there needs to be a little bit more filling in the bow over here. As you can see, there's still some open space. And the flag here, like the banner, is not done. So I did not work like to finish rows or anything, so I did not get a milestone on it this time. But I think it only has about 500 stitches left. So at most 3 more rounds on this one before it will be done, which is good. And then I will have another finish, because I'm only doing 200 stitches each time I pick these up. Maybe I will just go a little bit over and cheat a little bit to finish it when I get down to 300 or so, because that will not be a full round. But I'm trying to play this game at least a little bit as intended. So maybe not. Maybe you'll see this 3 more times before it's done. But that is all I worked on last week. Then again, I could just, if it works with like milestones, when I say I'm gonna go into this room, do the 200 stitches, and then I can move out, do 200 stitches, maybe move back somewhere else to do another 200 stitches. Technically I could play it so that I go into this room 3 times over this week. So maybe if I just play this one, so you might even see the finish next week. Who knows? I'm not making plans like that, because they never work out. But that is all the stitching that I did. So let's move back over and have another little chat, shall we? All right, here I am again. So what else did I want to talk to? It's kind of funny, because every time that I switch the face camera, I instantly forget what I wanted to say. So first off, and I did make notes, and I forgot that I made notes. I want to give a little thank you to 2 lovely people that gave me a shout out on their Flosstubes about 2 weeks ago, which I totally missed last week. Otherwise I would have mentioned it. I usually check like my community tab for comments on my videos, because I do want to answer all of the comments as best as possible. And for now, since I'm not getting that many, which is fine, I'm a tiny channel, I know, I tend to answer all the comments. Unless it's like a 1-word comment that I have nothing to say to. that happens as well. But I don't really check the mentions tab very often, because I don't really get mentions. So I did not see that. And unlike comments, mentions don't give you like the little red notification push note on your start page on YouTube. Like comments on your videos do, like you get a little note that you see immediately, hey, you have a message or something. It doesn't do that for mentions. So if you don't check them manually, you'll never know. But that aside, I have noted down here, so if I look down, that's why. I wanted to give a thank you to Lisa from Linguistic Stitches. I believe she's also a German channel, if I remember correctly. Like her channel is in English, but she's German as well. And she was at the Stitch-in Retreat, where I was as well. So she gave me a little shout out. I believe she bought one of my needle minders. So thank you for that. And I hope it's gonna give you a lot of joy in times to come. And then I also wanted to give a little thank you to Ghislaine. I hope I'm saying that correctly, from Handcrafted by Ghislaine, who was also at the Stitch-in Retreat, and she got my fairy mushroom pattern and she finished it. And it is such a cute finish. So I'm linking both of them down in the comments. So go check out their Flosstubes if you haven't already, and you will see that possibly if you watched her video. So thank you too for giving me a shout out. It's very much appreciated. And yeah, that's that part. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, I believe, also we do have a cat intervention here, really quick. Say hi to Seto, who wants to say hi. About my shop. So why is the pattern not available yet when I said I would make it available? Because I'm currently restructuring a little bit. As you might know, I do not just have my cross-stitch Etsy shop. I also have an Etsy shop where I mainly have like all of my stationery items, because I was a stationery maker before I was a cross-stitch designer. I cannot speak today. A cross-stitch designer. So I kept those separate, but I've had lovely people order from both of my shops, which isn't necessarily a problem because I can like refund postage overages and such without much issue. The thing that I've been thinking about recently is like and if you've been around Etsy, you probably noticed even from like a customer perspective that it's getting more and more flooded by like pattern mills and people that just sell like tons and tons of AI patterns, and not just in cross stitch but with everything. And like a small shop like mine, it's getting harder and harder to compete with just the sheer volume of things. So no, I'm not leaving Etsy. I have just decided to compile both of my shops into one, because unfortunately more listings equal more visibility, as is hard to miss on like when you always have shops on your front page that have over 1,000 listings and such. And while I generally thought in the beginning, since these are two different niches, like not necessarily, if you're interested in cross stitch, you're not necessarily looking for stationery and vice versa, but the overall thing that connects them, which makes it technically possible, is that all of them are made by my art. So if you say like you like my froggies, for example, right? The little froggy patterns that I made, like little stamps that you can use for coasters and such. So in my stationery shop, I have the same froggies as stickers. I have the magnets, which I had as needle minders as well. So you can still get them there as magnets, or choose needle minders to get an extra magnet, so you can just use them as a needle minder. I have notebooks, little notepads, bookmarks with the same motifs that I use for my cross-stitch patterns and such. Stickers, mainly. Like you can get the pixel art that I have that are cross-stitch patterns basically, also as pixel art, and you can get a sticker matching your cross-stitch project. So the art is the same for the most part, so why should I not put them together in one shop? Which saves me a lot of work, just switching back and forth between shops and see who bought what when, and organize both inventories and cross-reference both inventories for items like needle minders, which I technically sell in both stores. In one as a needle minder and in the other just as a fridge magnet. It's very technical. I'm not gonna like go deeper into that. You're probably not even interested in the technicalities. So long story short, I'm currently moving everything over. It's a gradual process. It will take a bit. Like needle minders have already disappeared from my shop and moved over to my other shop. I have cross-linked them. I have both linked in my description, I think. If not, they're both linked in my overall website, like on my link tree. And at the same time, I am also currently working on setting up a Ko-Fi shop as an alternative to Etsy, just for my digital patterns. So everything else, like the kits and the needle minders and the Flosstubes, they will be in the shop, as well as the digital patterns. But if you're only looking for digital patterns, Ko-Fi will be an alternative in the future as soon as I am done setting that up. And that will also be a place where I can put some freebies, because I'm planning on making like some of my tiny patterns, like the tiny mushroom and the matcha pattern. I'm gonna make them free, so you can just download them on Ko-Fi. And since Etsy does not give me the option to give something away for free and such. And then there's also something else I'm currently looking into that's being set up as we are speaking. there is like a new website that I have poked my head into, so to speak. It's a web app, basically, for those of you that use programs like Pattern Keeper or Markup or Saga. It is something similar. It is a web app where you can upload a pattern and use it basically to mark off your progress. I'm not the best at explaining it. It is called Clickstitch. I will link it down in the description. And it is made by someone who also is looking to, well, how do I put this? Technicals are not my forte, as you can see, to compile a list, not to compile a list. So it's first and foremost, it's a web app that works similar to like Pattern Keeper and Markup XP, but it is web-based. Like, it's not an app that you need to download. It works on a website, so you can use it, cross-use it on all of your devices, on your computer, on your phone, on your iPad or other tablet, on your laptop, wherever you are. So you do not have to like move it around between devices. You just log into the website on whatever your device you're on, and you have access to your patterns. It's a bit limited as in how many patterns you can have in the free version, but not all of us have like 100 whips. So where I come in that, I'm still testing that, so I can't tell you too much about it yet. But where my personal involvement comes in, the website also has a catalog of patterns. So designers can sign up to the website and offer their patterns there, both as a directory. So currently my patterns, not all of them, but a couple, since I'm still testing and setting up, are listed in that directory. And for now, you can filter through it and choose patterns by size, like how many stitches and how many colors, and designers it's like a little, well, like a storefront. If you go to Etsy and you search for frog pattern, you will get frog patterns. Same will happen on Clickstitch. If you go there and go into directory or inventory and search for frog patterns, you will probably find one of my frog patterns. And then you can choose if you want to buy it. And they will have a link to my Etsy store where I'm selling it. And then you can buy it on Etsy as usual. So, and then you can go back to the website and upload the PDF and use the web app like you would use Pattern Keeper or Markup. Where I find it very interesting, but that it is still in its very early stages, so that is something that is still being worked on. If I put a freebie there, you can technically, since you don't have to buy it, it's a freebie, you can integrate the freebie, like it's integrated directly into the website. So if you get the freebie, you will immediately have it as a project in the app, like the web app, where you can immediately use it like you would use it in Markup or Pattern Keeper without having to separately upload it and everything. And it will just be in your pattern directories. So, and in the future, the plan is to, when the website is finished programming and everything, that you can buy patterns in that directory directly on the website. You don't have to go to Etsy or wherever else the designer is selling the pattern. You can buy them directly there, and they will, like you do, get the freebies, and they're directly integrated into your inventory, basically. But like I said, everything is very early stages and very technical, and I'm just a designer. I'm just sitting there and putting my patterns there. I'm not the developer. I'm not like an app tester or anything. I'm just there as one of the early designers that put their work in there. But it's very interesting to me, and if it works as intended, and if it grows, then it will end up being like a neat little app similar to what we're all loving and familiar with. And it will also be a directory for where you can find patterns from designers that do not use AI, if that is something that is important to you, because that place will be completely AI free. It will only allow designers to list their patterns that make them themselves, which is nice. And I know more and more people put a lot of value on that, which a lot of us approve, me included. Not because I don't stitch AI patterns from time to time, but I'm obviously a designer who does not use AI in my own patterns, so I do approve when people actually value human art. So, but that aside, I am thinking of like making a little separate video about that, because that is something that I'm quite excited about. I'm not gonna do it anytime soon. I'm probably gonna wait a little bit until all of the functions are more like integrated and working, and then I will definitely make a video about it and show it to you if that's something that you're interested in. But yeah, that's all the technicalities. I still have paperwork to do. I'm almost done with like all of my basic business paperwork that I'm still having a backlog on, and then I need to do my taxes. So I'm busy. I'm super busy, which I wish I were more busy packing orders than doing paperwork, but that's another thing. But yeah, that's it from me for today, I believe. There's nothing really exciting happening at the moment, so that's gonna be it for now. And I hope that you like watching what I am getting up to. And if you haven't yet, click the little subscribe so you're notified when I upload every week, and come back and say hi next week, and click the little like button and maybe leave me a comment. I will definitely do my best to reply to you as soon as possible. And until then, my friends, have a great week and happy stitching. Bye bye.